So good morning to you all. As Penny said, I'm from Aberdeen, from the Camphill School in Aberdeen. Camphill for 70 years has been working with children who have additional support needs. It's been working for 70 years with the Waldorf curriculum, which means that a lot of our time is spent outside. Our outside environment is a crucial aspect of our curriculum. What we discovered with working with children with all manner of barriers to their learning is by being outside, something quite remarkable happens. Those barriers start to break down, and learning opportunities come for even the child with the greatest difficulties in accessing curriculum. Very recently, Aberdeen City asked us if we could help with a project working not with the regular children that we work with, but third-generation children from families with drug addiction, from homelessness, from domestic violence, the kind of children that are affected by incredible stress that creates huge barriers to their learning. By giving these children an experience of being outdoors just one afternoon a week, we hoped to see some remarkable changes in their learning and their development. And this is a short report about what we found. So the children that we work with come from the poorest areas of Aberdeen. That's the criteria by which the early years team at Aberdeen City sets for the children. They're aged between 18 months old to 5 years at the moment. So little babies up to children just ready to start P1. Most of the children we work with experience trauma, anxiety, and/or attachment disorders. These are the children that have the biggest hurdles to overcome to be confident individuals and successful learners. Our aim is to develop resilience. That sounds very grand. It's something that we believe that by being outdoors every afternoon, we have a really strong possibility of helping these children to experience. First of all, we need to help the children to relax. These children are super stressed. They're anxious children who come with an attitude of either fight or flight. So first of all, they need to just enjoy being outdoors, learning to breathe and to just be. Then staff need to learn how to build trusting relationships. They bring staff with them from their nurseries or the family centres. And together with those staff, we teach them how to build relationships, relationships that are built on trust. These children don't trust adults very often because adults let them down. Then, once we've built up that trusting relationship, we can start to nurture the children, to provide nurturing experiences that most children receive in family life. And we've achieved that by engaging with them and caring for them in a holistic way, with their physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Those are the foundations for all learning. Without that, no learning can take place. Then, once the children are feeling comfortable, relaxed, and well in themselves, then we can help them to start to discover or rediscover joy. Now that sounds like a very obvious thing. All children experience joy. But some children, because of the kind of stress that they're under, don't have very little opportunity to just have fun. Then we are able to focus on the core building blocks of turning vulnerable children into resilient individuals. That's working with self-esteem, self-confidence, motivation to have a go, to dare to try something, a positive outlook and realistic optimism, a sense of belonging, a sense of personal worth, social and communication skills, all very fundamental things, but things that are really not present in the children when they arrive. So the groups come from family centres or nurseries. They attend for just 10 weeks. That's very little time indeed. But in those 10 weeks, it's remarkable what can be done. Each session is about an hour and a half, and it takes place no matter what the weather, all year round outside. The staff accompanying the children receive training as they go along. They also have CPD sessions at the beginning and an evaluation session at the end, so they can carry on with the work after the children have finished with us. So what did the children experience? The very, very first session of Nature Nurture, it snowed. We were really lucky. These children had barely learnt to walk on flat surfaces, and we presented them with snow. Snow on uneven surfaces. And these children had a ball. The sensory experiences they had during this afternoon were wonderful. Through absorbing the sights, the sounds, the feel, the smell, they started to feel well. Then the weather is our greatest resource. The weather brings so many different possibilities of discovering the world, for feeling well in the world, for developing an interest in the world. Playing outside on a windy day is great fun. And water, wow, water. Water is remarkable. What a resource. This little girl on the left-hand side is almost blind. She has been wheeled about in a pushchair all her life. We put her in a suit and wellies, and we gave her a muddy puddle. And this child discovered so many things just through being allowed to play in a muddy puddle. She was filthy when she finished. The little girls with the buckets are exploring transporting schema. They're learning all about taking things from here to there and enjoying the tactile experience of playing with mud. They're learning to work together. They're communicating like mad. The picture in the middle is an activity that went on over 3 weeks. We had a pile of wooden runs for water. We had a slope. We had some buckets. We had a water container and a pump. We presented these to the children, and over 3 weeks, these children developed the most fantastic water run all by themselves. These children are aged between 1.5 and 3. They figured out the physics of how to get water to run from the top to the bottom in a series of runs, how to collect it at the bottom, how to use the pump, how to pump the water into the right place, how to bring the water back up again when the water container was empty. There was such a huge amount of learning and, most importantly of all, fun going on in that session. We're also very lucky in Camphill. We have a farm. Children who hadn't experienced anything other than cats and dogs suddenly had the experience of meeting animals that were huge, a bit scary, strange smells down at the farm, but lots and lots of exciting things to discover. Children overcome fear and learnt that something as big as those cows there can be incredibly gentle. And building dens. All children love building dens. These children are just 4 years old, and after working in the woods for about 4 weeks, they discovered that they could build dens with their friends together. It needed working together. Walking, running, climbing and jumping, all things that these children needed to develop confidence in. They needed to learn to take risks, but controlled risks, risks that we'd already risk assess, and we helped them to risk assess and to dare to have a go, and then have the incredible experience of, yeah, I did it, I managed. Finding and collecting, all these children love to discover. We give them baskets when they set off, and they love to fill their baskets, and everything they put in their baskets they're learning a little bit about, as well as having the enjoyment of carrying them back and taking them home as presents at the end. Eating outside, now that is quite a challenge when you're little. To balance a piece of paper towel on your lap and hold a piece of bread or banana and a drink and coordinate all that all together. The little boy at the end there has just got it sorted. He's made his log, what was supposed to be a seat, into a table. Brilliant, problem solving. All these children have got most of these children have got eating disorders. Anxiety means that you lose your appetite. You're scared to eat in places that you're not used to. All of these children, after a few weeks, are eating like horses. Singing and making music. There are so many remarkable sounds out in the woods, and we can kind of accompany those sounds with our own singing and our own music making. And most important of all, being together. Children learning to develop relationships, to learn to communicate, learning the social skills of creating and playing together. Just want to tell you very quickly about this little boy. This little boy comes from a high-rise block in the middle of Aberdeen. He's got a pretty tough background. He came out into the woods and he saw this very makeshift sawhorse that I'd knocked together to saw some wood. And he sat astride it and he says, "Look, I'm on a big horse." It's a great horse. He said, "I'm galloping across the fields." And this little boy galloped in his imagination across all the fields beyond the wood, telling us all the time where he was going and what he was experiencing. And then he came back, and all the children had gathered around him listening to his story. He opened a door for every single child's imagination by sharing that story. And for him, he'd had the most remarkable experience, something that's going to stay with him for the rest of his life. So, what has the project achieved so far? All our children have developed a respect for the natural world. I must say, before I put any more on, we've been doing observations and been involved in research with Aberdeen University about the work and the effects of our work. And these are our findings from our research. All our children developed in communication skills, listening skills, concentration. Their behavior has improved tremendously. Their gross movement and coordination has improved. Fine movement and coordination improved. Their stamina has got better. Their confidence has improved. Their self-esteem, their social skills, their problem-solving abilities, their ability to cope with change, their appetite, their ability to cope with challenges have all developed. Now, in the future, this project needs to develop further. We need to run sessions for a longer period for younger children. 10 weeks is not enough. We need to run sessions over a longer period for particularly traumatized children too. We need to develop our work with the parents that are involved. By helping the parents, we can improve the quality of life for these children further. We want to start a mum and babies group for young mums who are also vulnerable themselves. And we've also been asked by Aberdeen City to work with pregnant mums who are, themselves come from pretty tough backgrounds. And the work with older children, primary age children, needs to come next. And we'd hope to share some of our experiences and the knowledge that we've gained with other professionals. So those are our objectives for the next year. Thank you very much for listening.